It is not just Carol's music that comes from Latin America. Historically, resources such as oil and gas have also come from this region. Now, the critical materials needed for new energy technologies may come from here as well. In this video, we will discuss the role of Latin America in energy transitions with Professor Rosa Lehmann from Heidelberg University. So, Professor Rosa, why is it interesting to look at Latin America in these debates?
Well, I think it's always interesting to actually look at other world regions, no matter what we look at, but especially in the discussions and politics on energy transitions and how we can mitigate climate change, adapt to climate change, use more sustainable resources. And we always tend to think that maybe energy transition happens in Central Europe on the EU level or in the United States, but actually in the last years, a lot of countries are adopting goals related to climate change mitigation, but also often related to energy security and also to fight energy poverty. So I think we can learn from different world regions, and it's a mutual relationship, and this is reflected in different ways. There are many trade programs, cooperation programs between countries from Latin American regions and Europe. For example, Chile-German energy partnership, or Germany has also an energy partnership with Mexico or Brazil. But of course, also the perspective on different world regions is important in order to reflect our, meaning like us here based in Germany, although we are of course a very diverse population, our perspective and our goals in energy transitions. Because of course the Paris Agreement and climate agreements before, they acknowledge different responsibilities, so meaning who country has to decarbonize at what pace and to what scope. But I think in order to, I would say, to enhance decarbonization goals and maybe think about how can we even speed up the energy transition and make it socially just, we can learn from Latin American countries, but we also have a responsibility to do it really fast here, because a lot of countries across the globe, and this includes Latin American countries, are severely hit by climate change. We also now increasingly feel that in Europe, but I think we here have a responsibility, and this is what also connects us. And of course, related to all these different energy use are questions of combating energy poverty, but also who has access to energy, who uses the land where, for example, large-scale solar infrastructures or wind infrastructures need to be installed or implemented, constructed. But also we have a lot of research on the historical impacts of large-scale hydropower stations, environmental destruction, etc. So this is also something we know from debates here in Germany. But what is particular to the Latin American region is that you have a vast abundance of so-called sparsely populated land, and you have very good conditions in different parts for solar and wind production. So of course here, if you think about a rollout of these infrastructures, questions of land ownership and access and decision-making power can be very tricky and contested.
Now, we have learned that looking towards Latin America is not only interesting for learning salsa dance moves, but also because the debates we have here in Germany are taking place in other parts of the world as well, and they are deeply interconnected. We also know that the development of new technologies for the energy transition raises multiple questions about issues such as land ownership and participation. In the next video, we will explore in more detail the tensions surrounding the development of energy transition projects in Latin American countries. Stay tuned, and remember, everything we use comes from somewhere, but we can always do something to make it right.